what have you learned? How have you changed through performing with Joan Jett?
I think anytime you play shows, and it depends upon the magnitude maybe of the show, but I think you could be in a church basement or you could be at an arena. Mm-hmm. I think you still have to sort of play with the same fervor and enthusiasm and give it what you. But that being said, I think when you do play for more of like a principal artist or something, like everything just sort of counts. Everything has to count. Every hit has to count. You can't be like, well, I just sort of flubbed that one. Like that was not quite in the center of the drum. It was more towards like everything really just has to be square deal, and you have to watch her. I think it's made me a better performer, but just as a player, just to watch her, because that's my job, is to watch her and make sure that she's having a good time. And if she's having a good time, then we, the four of us can have a good time.
Yeah.
But it's really that. It's watching her hands from behind her. It's watching her, how she moves her leg, like in time. Mm-hmm. We don't play to a click. Everything. So everything is a feel thing. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the chorus is a little more upbeat than the verse would have been, and that's the ebb and flow. That's how it should be. We're humans.
Okay. So, but and then I'm curious, because you said you watch her to make sure she's happy. If you get a vibe that she's not where she should be, how do you influence that?
You adjust. You make that adjustment. I mean, she's never not happy, so to speak. But I mean, but you make the adjustment to be like, okay. I mean, when you see her leg, then I take my hi-hat to where her leg's taking you to.
Okay.
We have some hand signals that we used early on the first couple of years. She'll go behind her back and go up or down. Yeah. That kind of thing. We're all sports fans, so the hand signals haven't gotten so crazy yet. I haven't had to steal third.
Right.
But it just that it's helped me be more aware of my surroundings, of what all the other instruments are doing.
Yeah.
As well as my focus is on the leader.
Right.
Because you play follow the leader,
Yeah. And then actually the last time we talked, you did talk about you were really focused on consistency, with your hits and everything.
Yeah.
And which I think is not something that gets talked about all that often. People talk about the solos and the flash moves, when it comes to especially rock and roll. No one talks about the consistency. But, first off, when did you realize that, consistency was important in your job?
Consistency is key if you just kind of want to get, I think, anywhere in any job. With whatever I do, with what you do, with the bus driver. If he doesn't drive the bus good, if he's not consistent, he's, you lose your thing. But consistency, drumming, I mean, it goes back to everybody being happy, and it goes, you're trying to put on a show, and you're trying to sort of make this record in live time for this, these 20,000 people who want to kind of hear it that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't want to hear subtle interpretations, but I mean, they want to hear, I Love Rock and Roll. They want to hear da 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 da.
Right.
You have to start the song though. That's everybody. It's almost like a Neil Peart moment. I almost feel like I kind of know what he felt like, because everybody used to air drum to him.
Yes.
And as soon as that starts, you kind of see people in the crowd. And they're like. And you're just like, wow, it's like, just because it's an iconic fill.
Oh, yeah.
So that is consistency, just all around, just like all my fills, I want to have this sort of the same fill. And there comes a point, I mean, it depends upon, I think, what band and who you play for, and what style. But I mean, for what we do, consistency is key. And she wants the same fills in the same spots. She wants to sit the movement the same way. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? There is an ebb and flow. Some nights, you're a little more laid back. Sometimes you're a little more on fire, depending upon how the crowd is. Just that. But it's consistency and maintaining what you're really supposed to be there for. And it's like making that live record.
Yeah.
That instantaneous live record for everybody. And every day.
I love the idea of making an instantaneous live
album. People want to hear it
night.
right there. That's what they want to hear. They paid their money, and now you go to the show, money for these shows. Oh my God, the money So I mean, they want their money's worth. You got to give them their money's worth.
But I think in the same time, simplicity, especially in 4/4 time rock and roll, does not get its due. It's not as easy to play that well as I think other people think. It's like when music fans, or it's like when music aficionados bash Ringo Starr, and they're like, well, it was just this, and then I'm like, but whenever I talk to a professional drummer, they're like, no, he was great. He played perfectly for those songs.
Yep. Funny enough is they were in town last night, Ringo's All-Star Band.
Oh, yeah.
Which Bissonette is playing, which is even crazier because our tour manager and our monitor guy used to work for Maynard Ferguson.
Oh.
And our TM was Maynard Ferguson's TM for years, and he TM'd Maddie, and so that was real but it was Nashville, and there was a lot of other people there, and we were like, we can't get over to see Bissonette. How do we get over to see Bissonette? But no, I think it's lost now because it's going. I've seen it in waves, and maybe two waves of examples that I can give. There was the double bass wave, where the kids only you had kids, then their feet were fast as hell. They had no hands to speak of, but they could sit down and be like, brrr, and you're like, wow, do you ever use your hands?
Right.
Now we're in the gospel chop era of where the kids are just shedding, but you sort of see them after they get done, and they try to go back to it. It's so odd.
Oh.
There's almost no backbeat. They're almost so ahead of everything because they're so used to. But then again, I think that goes with breathing. You have to breathe through all your stuff that you do. What I mean? When you're riding a bike, you need to breathe. If you're doing a drum fill, you need to breathe. If you hold your breath, you're going to try to rush through the drum fill to get to the end so you can take the breath.
Okay.
So sort of have maintain your balance and your breathing and that kind of thing. But that's the waves, I think, and so we're in this gospel chop wave of where the kids, I don't think, focus on your Ringos or John Bonhams, for God's sake. I mean, there's just a good solid 4/4 backbeat, and you can't get a gig playing all that stuff. I don't know if there's a great
I know what you're gonna say. The cartoon? The comic?
It's a guy, and he's like, I've been, and it's a little clip, and he's like, I and maybe you could show it, and we'll find it. But he's like, I keep getting asked how to play in 12/8 time or whatever, 16/4 time, whatever time it was, odd, crazy time. He's like, and so, I'm gonna try to break it down, and we're gonna go through it right now. He's like, so it starts 1, 2. Ain't nobody playing in 16/4 time. You don't get no jobs in 16/4 time. Nobody's dancing and it's hysterical because it's so true. But you're like, oh no, he's gonna do this. How are we gonna break this down? And then it's hysterical. You gotta see it. But it's so true.
Yeah.
You're not making any booty shake. Being all crazy, you want a nice groove, you want a nice beat, and there's a lot of, and it's just there really isn't. I'm glad you said it because there's no focus on that. It's really on this more is more.
Yeah.
And it was no, it was less is. I grew up in the less is more movement. Why is more now? When did that? I didn't get that book.
Yeah, no. For the record, the one I was thinking of, it was a hand-drawn comic, 2 panels, and you see a guy behind the kit, and then you see this guy standing behind him, looking like a manager or a rec exec, and in panel number 1, he's just flying, and the record exec is going, "You're amazing," and then in the next panel, you see him just going, "Boom, bap, boom, boom, bap," and the rec exec goes, "You're hired."
It's so true. That's it. I mean, that is really it. I mean, for me, I even with this project, I mean, I was always maybe a little more busy, not flashy. I don't twirl sticks or flip sticks, but maybe I played a little more busy, and I definitely had to dial that all back in because this isn't that thing. And I knew that. I mean, in getting when in rehearsing for it and stuff, I wasn't like, oh well, there's no drum fills. There's so much room for drum fills.
Right.
Like, it was like, no, there's no drum fills there for a reason. If they're not on the record, then you're not supposed to play them. And so, but that, just like that, and that was, and any time that I would even maybe feel that, like, hey, let's get on this.
Yeah.
And I would never try to even think about gospel chopping in this. We call that a chicken or beef moment, where they're like, want chicken or beef? You're going home. And it's really that. I think it is. It's. I'm glad you brought up the Ringo is so underrated. Not to the people that know, but to like kids and stuff. They're like, well, he's not Travis Barker, and you're like, oh, Travis is great, but have you heard this guy Ringo started a whole thing, like kind of maybe slightly invented. Right. Some stuff as far as drumming goes, like maybe you want to check it out, like
and I have a hunch. I don't know, but I have a hunch. If you talk to Travis Barker, he's going to be, I grew up on Ringo.
Yeah, man. Yeah. No, I know Travis. We all go back to the basics.
Yeah.
But there's a definite like YouTube generation that I don't know that's really what they're doing. They're like kind of caught up in the drum cover, in the
the flash,
the flash, the drum cover, the chops, all that stuff, and you're just sort of like. Although I did like the marching band stuff coming back.
Oh yeah,
which is rad because I'm from drum corps, so I was like, oh nice, like I was like that was an aspect of like stuff being videoed and stuff that I was like, that's cool. Also, like you doing an August Burns Red cover drum in your bedroom, like I'm just like, whatever. Like,
right. But also that's hardcore rudiments too. It's not like I'm gonna add a gong behind me and then flames, that. Yeah. It's hardcore rudiments.
And you're going from match to traditional grip. I mean, so like there's that. I mean, so if you can't play traditional, if you're only used to matched, you're gonna you just can't do that. I mean, and there's kids. I think there's a whole era of drummers that don't even have any clue how to play traditional. Yeah. It's clearly just a matched world. And you're just like, wow, like, I mean, that's how I started in 4th grade. They were like, no, that's how you play. This is what you do.
Yeah. And then do you use traditional grip in this gig at all?
No. But I do at home to just try to sort of keep it alive, you know what I mean? A great one was last year, Todd Sucherman.
Oh yeah.
And he switches between match and traditional so flawlessly. You know what I mean? Like within the just text of a song, like he'll just go into it, and his hits though are just like. I probably would if I could have the fluidity and like the power and the hits that he gets traditionally. Yeah. But I'm still more of the marching band guy where like where you're sort of up like this and he kind of has it down here already. You know what I mean? I'm still up here. Right. But he's more like he's like, I got this. I'm so like, what? I got this. What?
Yeah. And coincidentally, so Todd Sucherman, drummer for Styx. Amazing drummer, and check out his Instagram
great dude.
Account because he posts all these fantastic videos taken from Styx shows.
Yep.
And he can play some massively complicated fills and time signatures. Yep. But speaking of, it was only just a month or two ago he had a video where he said, "I'm tired of people bashing Ringo Starr," and he did this whole defense of Ringo Starr, which I thought was cool.
He's one of those people though, when he plays and he goes into like a complex section, like or a fill, it doesn't sound overplayed. It's totally sounds like he's playing for the the context of the song and for the song. So it's not like he's just sort of going for it. Wow, look at him stepping all over A, B, or C. Yeah. He's just sort of complimenting all of those. You know what I mean? So I don't ever like with him. He can overplay all day. Sugarman, you overplay all day. I'll take it all day. I love it. But some of the kids, you're just like they overplay and go back to the beat. But then there's really no beat to go back to.
And that brings up an interesting point that I never thought of when you talk about having the ability not just to go fast when it's necessary to go fast, but to slow down to then put on the brakes and still have a groove of a solid beat. Like on the way over here, listening to the song Crimson and Clover, where it, changes speeds within the song. And it's not just, okay, here we go, we're going to go fast. But it's like, no, then you have to put on the brakes and go back into that slow, steady groove.
Ramp it back down,
yeah.
It's that's just time. You know what I mean? Like time within that song, time playing those kind of songs. You know what I mean? That's how I grew up. I played along to Joan Jett songs or go-go songs or you didn't really, there wasn't all this animals as leaders stuff that you could, if you wanted to do that, you went to like Mahavishnu.
Yes.
Right. So there wasn't. It was more songs. Like you just played the songs, like the Stray Cats when I was coming up. I mean.
Yeah.
And there are points where like I disassembled my drum set just so I could have like a bass drum, a snare, and a ride.
Right.
I'm like, I'm gonna stand. Well, he's standing. I'm standing, man. But that was just still groove.
Yeah.
Slim Jim, he was just playing a groove, man. Mm-hmm. and swinging. So like that, like it really, I think I learned early on that I wasn't the Neil Peart guy. There was already that dude kind of like in my area, who was amazing and had the drum set and everything. So you're like, oh, okay. Right. My sister had already gotten me like the 6-foot Led Zeppelin poster.
Oh, okay.
That was on my ceiling, and I was like, well, I'm the John Bonham guy. You be the Neil Peart guy, I'll be the John Bonham guy. And
right.
And you either just want to groove or you don't want to groove.
Right. And I love both of them. I think they're both fantastic. But I would say, if you want to be more of a working drummer, Bonham's the one to go after.
And I think a lot of kids just don't see that. And you sort of see that also within their drum videos that they do. Yeah. Where you're like, you're playing this song, but I mean, some of them you're even like, how many times did you practice this song before you decided to record it? Like, sometimes you got to practice it a couple more times. Like, I'm just saying. I mean, like, but that's again, I think it's everybody's for the right now. Yeah. And it's like, just slow down. Like, it's not about how fast you can get that video out and up and uploaded and how many hits you like. Learn it, love it, like really get into the tune and feel it, and I want to know that you and if you do that, you can see that, you know what I mean? And when somebody's earnest about what they're doing, and but I mean, a lot of those kids, they're just in it, and it's slightly disheartening. You sort of want to shake them. You go, no, just turn the cameras off, turn the lights off. Yeah. Just get in your room, put on your headphones, and shed. Mm-hmm. And then Friday night, when your friends are like, let's go party, you go, no, I'm going to go up to my room and I'm going to shed. And just do that over and not for the sake of anything other than you love the fucking drums. Yeah. That's it. I do that now. I was home for a couple days. Mm-hmm. And within the couple days of this break, I was still like, we were going to learn more songs. Yeah. But even my girlfriend was like, well, so in her schedule of working, and she's like, well, I figured you're going to do a 6 to 9 at night, right? And I was like, yeah, probably. I mean, when she goes in the morning, I'll try to do like a 9 to 12 or like 10 to 12, and then I'll try to do like a football, like a 2 a day. And then but she knew though, like it was like it doesn't matter that you're midway between like off tour for 4 days, you're still going to go in and play, just because you love it. And that was it. Like, I wanted to learn new songs, but I also, I wanted to just play other songs. I wanted to go play a Bad Religion song. I wanted to play whatever. I wanted to play some country tunes. We were going to, I love all that stuff. Garrett Goodwin from Carrie Underwood. Which Carrie was at our show last night. I got to talk to them about Garrett and stuff. Garrett's another guy who's got a special place in that. Like, he's that dude. He's that backbeat. Yeah. I mean, like that's why he's been her drummer for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like, because you have that beat. So. Yeah. So, but it's that. I think there's that. I think there's a lot of kids don't, Right. Okay. And then, in terms of learning, and again, it takes time to learn this and get, because you didn't just start at Joan Jett. You've been in the biz for a really long time, and you were in the Bouncing Souls for a long time. And I'm curious because
people always talk about, oh, I'm so glad I got that classical music education because it taught me about this, that, and the other. And they'd say, oh, I'm glad I studied jazz. It taught me improvisation and stuff. I think punk teaches people something, but I don't know how to articulate what it is. So I'm curious, from your perspective, what did you get from those formative punk years?
Well, I think kind of the punk, it sort of takes you back. It's just like sort of faster Ringo.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But there is no room. You're going kind of fast, so there's not a lot of room for a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
And putting a lot of other stuff in is going to clutter up the thing anyway. And it's really like the Souls, we were just, I mean, although that's kind of where I guilty as charged of overplaying in the Souls completely, especially live. Like records not, but live, like yeah. But it's that, like we were trying to convey a song, you know. And I think that's with any good artist, you just want this song to come across, you know. You don't want like one particular thing, like wow, listen to this, but listen to the guitar player. Like you want everybody to be represented equally and to come along. And that's kind of the punk world was it was fast Ringo, and it taught me to like stay in my lane, do what I'm supposed to do, don't step on anybody else's toes, do your thing if you have that second to do it, if you're, you know, but just that, and also that the punk world, there was no headiness, you know what I mean? Like you're just, I mean, even now, like we're just kind of a bunch of punks, you know what I mean? Like there is no like, you know. Yeah. I mean, I could say Joni's a rock star, but she doesn't ever act like a rock star. She, not at all. She's just like, she's just a little punk. She's just you know, wants to hang out, talk about the Orioles. So
right.
That's, but it's that. It's sort of just maintaining your grounding. I think so to answer your question, the punk thing I think kept me grounded, drumming and mentally. You know what I mean? Like, and spiritually. It's a great community. So, you know, there's a lot of love and everybody supports each other. Again, it's just fast Ringo, so you got to stay in your lane. Yeah. And you know, and just a lot of love, man. Like it keeps you grounded. Just, you know, kept me in good shape. You know, I mean, you start playing shows an hour and a half long and sweating, losing 5 pounds a night. Like it's a good workout. I definitely didn't need to go to the gym. Right. So, for sure.
And then that makes me think of also to me, this kind of cool contradiction of, you know, you guys on stage, you know, like how you look now is how you look on stage. Yep. And you have this vibe of we're just playing with friends. We're doing a show for a bunch of friends. Yep. It's relaxed, it's casual, there's no airs, there's no like, you know, matching suits, none of that kind of stuff. But on the other hand, there's this amazing attention to detail, and you know, really, it's like you're not lackadaisical about the music, just kind of yourselves. Is that an accurate way to describe it?
Yeah, no, the music is obviously at the forefront and the center. Like, and again, we talk about it. We like. You know, I watch game. I think I talked to you about in the podcast about watching game films. That's kind of what I call them. Like, so any Instagram footage that I can get. If I went on YouTube right now, it would come up Joan Jett and the Blackhearts Live 2019, and I come in and I filter that by the week or the month to see, and I go through. I want to see what did I sound like 2 nights ago? What did I sound like last night or last week, or just so you can sort of stay where you should be. So lackadaisical, and no, I mean, and even the way we look, I mean, there's still even a thought about it, you know what I mean? Like I had to cut my sleeves off or have my girlfriend cut them off, you know what I mean? And it's the only difference is like the shirt I go on stage with doesn't say anything.
Oh, okay.
But and the pants are just, they're just different pants, but they're the same pants, really.
Right.
Yeah. So, but there's that, I mean, which I think then when you take this away, then you can sort of focus more on the music. You know what I mean? And that being, even though we are a bunch of punks, you know, like, you want that to come across, and just like I was saying with the Souls and songs, Joni has songs, you know what I mean, that like heartfelt songs. She's saying things within the lyrics. There's a lot of meaning, so you want to convey that. And so, you know, that's, you know, we don't, this doesn't really matter. Like, what matters is kind of what you exude to them. so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter really what you look like. I mean, you can put on $1,000. Just, you know, can you play the guitar? Can you play drums? I mean, it doesn't matter how good your outfit is.
Right.
How good's your song? How well did you play your song?
Right.
You know, how well did you represent that song? So.
And then it also makes me wonder, because there's a definite attitude that comes along with her songs, with her music.
Yeah.
Not an attitude like I'm putting on airs, but like, you know, I've got some fight in me.
Oh, yeah.
How does one play attitude?
I think you just sit up a little straighter. I think you put a little more meat and potatoes into it. You just, you know, arch your back a little, give a little more oomph to it.
Mm-hmm.
Just that. I mean, you play it like you mean it. You know what I mean? Like, just that. I'm trying to think of analogies. You know, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, my mind goes dirty, but I mean, yeah, I mean, you know, just don't do it. If you're gonna do it, do it. You know what I mean? Don't. Again, my analogy. Yeah, you know, I mean, yeah. If you're gonna do it, just do it. It's really just there is no half stepping.
Okay.
So playing with attitude, I think, is probably more mental than anything. But it's really just that. And I think with anything, any job, it's just a mind game. And if you can just focus on your task at hand and do what you have to do.
Yeah.
So
it's a mental state that translates into the physical state.
I think so. I think to play with some attitude, you have to play with attitude, you have to have some confidence, which then you would have to know the songs or know the material or know what you're doing. So it's kind of full circle, you know what I mean? Like, you can't play with attitude unless you know what you're doing. Yeah. And sometimes there's people that try to play with attitude but don't know what they're doing, then it looks like that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it's just like, you know, you should have done your homework. If you want to come off like that, you got to do your homework like that. Yeah. So I think playing with attitude, I think it's just that. I think it's a state of mind. I think you just have to know what you're doing, do your homework, have confidence in yourself and everybody else that you're with, and then I think that comes off like that. You can convey that. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully. Right.
And then on the technical side, your setup is really low. You know, your rack toms are not all that high. You know, the cymbals are pretty low. You know, down around here.
But my seat is higher.
Okay, but what I'm curious about is, did you set up your kit that way? Is that an ergonomic thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Completely.
And so and is it also a line of sight thing?
No,
okay.
Ergonomics. Bouncing souls, I was really high. Like, I had two cymbals here, and then I had a china over here, which is great. I have a quick. So we're at the BBC at Maida Vale, and we're going to do a BBC session in London. And as the sound engineer is miking my hi-hat, he's looking over and he's like, what's? And my English accent is horrible. But he's like, what's with the comedy cymbal? And I was like, what? And he's like, the comedy cymbal, man. You know, and I was like, oh my God, you just called my china a comedy cymbal. And then it just became like a comedy cymbal from then on. Yeah. But that was up here, I mean, flying high, because you don't really want that last couple inches. I flew it inverted, so like the flat part was out. So everything was high, and I felt like I just, you know what I mean? Like,
big movements.
A lot of movements, and it takes a long time to go to here than it does to here.
Oh, yeah.
I could just do this all day, but to go to there, that's a little, you know, but here, it's a flick of the wrist. So it's completely, I lowered stuff, I brought myself up, so I'm sitting higher, so I'm sitting, and then everything, like the snares and the floor toms are all, I mean, if they're within a millimeter, but they're pretty all flat. Yeah. But just that, no. Line of sight, I could give one shit about. That's but it was that. It was physicality. It was just, and I just like lessening my movements and getting more out of them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, right. So you're just making it count more. Yeah. You know, without having to work as much and sort of keep. And I probably should have done it. It's funny. if I was going to do it I should have done it in the soles when it was fast stuff.
Yeah.
And I was trying to move around at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Instead of going, like that, would have been a lot easier then.
Right.
But just that, it was really that. It was I was told years ago about like Fish from Fishbone, and he was like, gotta raise your seat up. I always used to play so low. Denny Fongheiser, who's playing for Heart.
Okay.
It's funny, we just had a discussion. He's like, we got to get a picture together. And I'm like, he's like, our kits. He's like, because they're exact opposites. He sits, his seat is spun completely to the flat floor.
Oh my God.
I mean, it is.
Is he about the same height as you?
Oh God, no. Denny Fongheiser's tiny.
Okay.
And he's tiny.
Okay.
And like he's little, like nice guy, but he's tiny, and everything is so high.
Huh.
No, I want to sit, like, when he sits, his snare is, like, up here.
Oh, wow.
It's odd, like, and so and there's no rack tom. He's got 3 floor toms, but everything is just high. Cymbals are in outer space, which is rad, but that's why we want to get the back-to-back picture of, like, one high and one low.
Right.
But yeah, we had that talk about that. He's like, why do you? And I was like, want to make my movements count more. Like I want to put more. I don't want to have to reach for the cymbal and then try to hit through the cymbal.
Yeah.
I just want to flick my wrist. I mean, because that's really what we were taught when you're a kid, and even in drum corps they would tie shoelaces around our wrist and put it through the lugs so that you couldn't go up high.
Oh.
So you had to just stay down here.
Oh,
everything
okay.
had to be wrist.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's you're taught, and I just sort of kind of, with age, went back to that.
Yeah,
It was
right.
like, let's make this easier for the old man.
Right.
Let's take a little. It's like, whew.
And then, funny that you brought up age, because last time we talked, what came through is you're constantly learning, and you're big on anyone can constantly get better, constantly improve as they go through life, which I'm totally for, and I totally get.
Yeah.
But what I'm curious about is, as you age, you're not as quick as you once were. The agility kind of goes, the speed goes, maybe some of the power goes. How do you deal with that?
You don't let that happen.
How do you not?
You work out. You don't. I feel like I think I'm probably better now than and even when I go back and play like punk stuff.
Yeah.
I know how to play it now almost better, so I'm not phased as much.
Oh, wow.
Or maybe as winded.
Mm-hmm.
And I even got to go back and play with the Souls not long ago, within the last year, and I sat in for 4, 5, 6 songs, and it was just. It was so great because I was like, I know how to play these songs now. Like, I mean, also because I've stepped away, so they were a little fresher.
Yeah.
But I had listened to some stuff in preparation of coming to the show. They were like, let's maybe play these songs, and it was just. But it was funny. I thought about that in the first song. I was like, this is easier now. Like, why was this song harder then, but it's easier now? And like, so I kind of had that. You can't let it happen.
Okay.
I think if that happens, then you get replaced. I mean, you do. If you're the younger guy's going to take the older guy's spot if you can't do it. It's just like a car. If the car gets old, you replace the car with something newer and younger.
Right.
I think you constantly have to maintain your parts, so to speak. I mean, you just do. I water, working out. I mean, I just found a new guy, and he's got me. The things, but it just hurts. It just does. It hurts. I don't really want to do. There these, like, they're called mountain climbers.
Oh.
But, so you're on the floor,
Yeah.
and your knees are coming up,
Right.
but now this kid's got me doing twisting mountain climbers.
Ow.
Yeah, I'm fucking 50, dude. I don't need to. Like, I want to sit in bed and order room service. And
Right.
Yeah, that's. But no, till you want that. But I think it's that, and I think that. But it's not wanting to lose that edge.
Yeah.
And I think fighting. I mean, I'm trying to fight youth, or fight old age rather with youth as much as I can. And,
Yeah.
Just that. I mean, I'm not a workout fanatic, but I try to. We all pretty much maintain our thing. I stretch constantly throughout the day.
Yeah, and I
all
think
day.
it really shows your commitment to, this career?
To wanting to have a job.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I want to have a job. Yeah, I like things. I just got a car. I got to pay that off. But no, it's maintaining your and even your state of mind. I mean, it's a whole thing. I mean, and it's not easy out here. You know, it's not easy in life for people. So it's I think with anything you do, you just have to really. I don't think there's enough time that we take enough time for us. I think everyone is so consumed with so much other shit that you sometimes lose focus of the you and the maintenance of this body, of this vehicle that we have. And if you don't do that, then that's when you lose sight of everything, and then you go with whatever it may be that you go with. But I think it's healthy body, healthy mind. The world is not a great place. Be nice to everybody you come in contact with. Hold the goddamn door for the next person. It's just the whole me simple generation, things, simple things, man. Like, and that I feel better about me doing things like that. I mean, I was just raised. I'd like to think that we were all raised better. You know what I mean? So it's just that. It's just being kind to yourself, being kind to others. I think goes a long way. But that I don't want to lose. You lose your job if you lose that.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Is there anything we didn't talk about today that you want to discuss that, it's like, oh, what's been on my mind lately is...
No, just that. The last 30 seconds, I just think we're like that. I think we're so divided kind of as a country, and I'm not going to get political, but because it's not that. But I think everybody just needs to be nicer to everybody. I do. I mean, I travel so much, so I see so much BS on planes, off planes, in airports, at hotels, and you're just like, if we just took a breath and you're just nice to the next guy. If you're just like, hi. I mean, when somebody gets on the elevator, I say, hi, how are you? How's your day? Or you make small talk. Sun is shining and we're above ground. It's a good day, huh?
Right.
But some people are just fully like, And you're like, God, what?
Right.
Where are you going? Like, what did I catch? I mean, like, maybe, and it's not just, it's so many people that you're like, I didn't catch, the first person you're like, oh, they're having a bad day. I caught him in a bad moment. But it's not. It's just, it's the state of where we're at. People are just, they're about themselves. They're on their phones. They're just, and I'm guilty. I'm on my phone. We're in that world. But I don't think that. I don't think we take enough time for us. I don't think we take enough time for our loved ones. Asking the next guy, how you feeling?
Yeah.
Instead of being like, wow, I can't believe he did that or she did that. I wish I would have asked her how she was feeling.
Right.
Well, fucking do it.
Yeah.
Then ask. Ask before it's too late. Stand up. Do something. Grab a broom. Get involved. I had a friend, Brian Downey. That's what he would say. Grab a broom. Get involved. Early is on time. On time is late. So just do it, man. Just get out there. Live life. We have one go around. So just try to be as happy as you can. Sometimes I'm not the most happy guy in the world, but maintenance. Then that's when you're like, I got to do maintenance on the vehicle. Okay, I got to put a little air in the tires. Or I got to do a little, so to speak.